right, almost there. Almost there. Okay, testing 1 2 1 2. Let me know you can hear the mic, please, and you can see the intro chart. Let me know you can see the intro chart, please, and you can hear me. Anybody? Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. I'm not seeing anybody type. Okay, thank you, Mauricio. Appreciate it. Okay, let's get cracking. Release the Kraken. Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus. Unemployment claims in Philly Fed. My name is Lee Goldstein, Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Today in particular is going to be an educationally purposeful day. Yesterday afternoon, people made thousands of dollars trading NVIDIA. I'm not joking. Thousands.
Secured
All
overnight
right.
financing rate 4.56% for November the
So you don't
20th
want to give it
versus
back this morning
4.57% for
on a
November the 19th.
ridiculous trade. So I just want to make that clear. You don't want to give back your thousands on ridiculous trades. Trades that from the day that I got here 8 years ago, my boss had this trade on his do not trade list. But I had a crazy idea this morning, something that we haven't looked at in a long time on these events. So when I say these events, what do I mean? Thursday unemployment claims and other reports that it trades with. Now, today, it's trading with Philly Fed. It trades with Philly Fed really only two ways. It trades with Philly Fed with retail sales, all right? And when it does it with retail sales, then we don't look at unemployment claims and Philly Fed. We look at retail sales because that's the important event. That's the event that moves the market. It's certainly not Philly Fed. So you have to keep in mind, what are you looking at when there's multiple events at the same time? What's the event that actually is going to move the market? So when we look at today, it's really the jobless claims that are going to move the market, but there is a history of the jobs, Thursday jobless claims trading with Philly Fed. There is a history. So I woke up late this morning because every now and then, if I actually get to sleep, I will sleep. Um, and I had an idea, and I didn't have enough time to do all the testing I would have wanted to do. So yeah, Ravi, I would not. This is a coin toss. These are coin toss trades. This is a coin toss trade. If you use the DMM. All right. So first of all, let me welcome everybody that's watching us on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much for coming and giving us your time. We appreciate it. So hit the like button. That would help us out. Sometimes there's a trade and you can't wait to get to the room because you know it's going to be a winner. You just know the odds are so good that you can't wait to trade. And then there's other events where I can't sleep because I can't think of a setup that I want to trade. And that's unemployment claims and Philly Fed. I don't really like either of these setups, NQ or gold, as a breakout. Why? It's really pretty simple. Look, all you have to do is look. First of all, they did not trade together in October. You have to go to September because in October we had retail sales. Okay. So we didn't have Philly Fed, we had retail sales or unemployment claims. Unemployment claims can affect retail sales. It can add ticks, take away ticks to the move. It could make retail sales a little bit trickier to trade, but nevertheless, retail sales is still the report that you're trading. Notice what we did in September on Philly Fed and Thursday claims. I'm looking for different setups than what we have on the DMM. I'm looking for a magnet, which is a great setup to look for on reports where our setups are questionable, debatable, difficult. Okay. It's not that we do a bad job, it's that sometimes an event doesn't have a consistent reaction. It's just that simple. It's not complicated. It doesn't move the same way. Why did people make thousands of dollars? And I'm going to say it all day today to remind you to hold on to your money today. Why did people make thousands of dollars on NVIDIA yesterday? Because it's reliable. It moves very similarly every quarter. So it lets us set up a trade. Now, in September, you had a candle that printed on gold. Okay. When a candle prints, meaning it just appears, watch. That candle didn't draw, it appeared. Okay. When a candle appears, that means that move was probably too fast to get a good fill. That's a real liquidity question that only a live trade with cash money will answer. But through experience, I can tell you that particular gold trade would have been difficult to make a profit on that breakout. All right. And notice it does reverse somewhat. Okay. Not phenomenal, but somewhat. On the right side, looking at the NQ, 830, Philly Fed, Thursday unemployment claims. Pretty nice reversal, don't you think? It was quick, but it reversed. And it reversed again. So I was thinking, let's look at one more. Markets all of a sudden are pushing. They were. I wasn't connected. Let me connect and see if it's continuing here. Nope. It's all right. Let's go to July was the next Philly Fed unemployment. Let's see what happened in July. We had the same setup, and there was a lot of news in July also. We had the ECB, all right. So there was earlier news that could move the markets, have an effect. Sometimes if you have a news report 15 minutes prior to another news report, which happens, it can affect that second news report. Okay, watch the left side NQ. What do you notice? A really quick reversal. Okay. And what do you notice on gold on the right side? A really quick reversal. A little bit slower than the NQ, but still, that was only 8 seconds, and it's back down to where it was at the time of the report, give or take 5 ticks. So I had an idea this morning, but not enough time to do a perfect setting of the perfect test. So I don't want anybody to trade real money on this, if you don't mind. Now, look, you could take the breakouts. You could trade these normally, right? You could trade the breakouts, no problem. No one's going to say that. First of all, if you trade the breakouts, you saw two of the most recent results on this particular setup, Philly Fed unemployment claims, and they were not easy breakouts. All right. And our setup right now is a breakout. I believe these are trap trades. And we just, have been trying to, it's like when you try what's that Einstein saying? When you try to do the same thing over and over, and you get, what is it, a different result? Or you get the same result? I don't know, but you're a dope for doing it. Well, I think we have not looked at these setups, unemployment claims, maybe in the best light. So I did a quick test how far the instruments moved on those last two events. And what I came up with, and I'm serious, this was very quick testing because I knew I had a stream this morning. I got up a tiny bit late. I got to have coffee. And I did the test, and we had 80 ticks of NQ movement. And we don't do a lot of NQ trap trades because the NQ is often not consistent in terms of its size. Okay. But gold has been very good trap trades. But I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this a couple of times. I haven't done enough testing to determine if I'm right here or not. But I think these are trap trades. Gold moved, according to my very fast testing, 39 ticks in September and about 25 ticks in July. All right. So, first thing I'm going to do now, one of the fun things about having a prop account is what's the worst that can happen if you have a bunch of them? You could blow one up, right? I suppose you could blow a prop account up. It's possible. Let me check something. Like I said, I didn't have time to do every little thing that I needed to do this morning. So bear with me. And Just have a little faith that I actually know what I'm doing this morning. But I want to test one more thing. I want to look at one more thing. All right. So give me half a second to do it. This is the DMM for today's trades that I'm not going to trade as breakouts. I don't want to trade them as breakouts because I don't think they're good. All right. I don't think they're good. Hang on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I want to know if you can hear me. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? It's very important. Very important. Hold on. Okay, I know you can hear me now. You may have to re-log in. I'm sorry. All right. So give me half a second. There's one thing I've got to check, and I just have to check it if I can. So give me a second if I can check it. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to give everybody a trap trade setup. Check your time, please, by going to time is and make sure that your time is set up properly. All right. And I'm just trying to check one thing that I have to do it off the monitor. So you got to bear with me, and I apologize. And I just may not be able to do it. So I'm not going to be able to do what I wanted to do. It's all right. The one thing I wanted to check, it doesn't matter. So what I was saying is sometimes it's fun to have a prop account because if you blow it up, what's the worst that happens? You can just get another one or you can reset it. Sometimes it's cheaper to get another one, okay? Because they might be having a sale. So here's what I would consider this morning. Here's what I would consider this morning on this report because of some very quick testing. So I've got gold here, right? Gold already did, it's been doing a VWAP hang. You know, it's been hanging around the VWAP pretty much since 7 o'clock. By the way, if you like trading magnets, get up be sitting in front of your chart at 6:45 every morning and look for a gold magnet. More often than not, it'll be a VWAP. Look at this test. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Anyway, just a heads up there. So what I'm doing, but I'm not going to, under no circumstances would I give back money that I made yesterday that really made most people's week. Okay. If you made $2,500 or $1,800 or $1,000 on a trade, you don't need any more trades this week. You don't have to take the coin tosses this week, do you? No, you don't. You really don't. All right. So I'm setting up a trap trade on gold. All right. Setting up a trap on gold. And just let me think through this for 1 second because I want to make sure the tiers make sense. And you can try this on micro gold also if you'd like to. But I want everybody to keep in mind that I haven't done enough testing that I would trade this with cash for most people. Okay. Certainly not a cash account. Not a cash account. So we had a 40 tick move, we had a 25 tick move, a 65, let's say an average of 33 ticks. So here's what I want to do on gold. It's a little aggressive. It's a little aggressive on the trap. I'm going to do 30 and 50 on my tiers. Label it 30 and 50 on my tiers. And I'm going to use a 25 stop. All right. I'm using a 25 stop. 30 and 50. And I'll risk an extra prop account I have. That's a troubled account anyway. And I'm got to go back. So let's go back from the very beginning. Trap trade. Tier 30, tier 2 is 50. The stop is 25. The activation time is 8, 29, 55 if you have the current software. And this is a test, folks, okay? This is not a recommended setup. This is a test because I'm not sure yet if my idea is great. I'm not sure if my idea is great. If you're using the previous version of the software, then you're going to have prep seconds are 5 and your activation time of event, it says 8:30, and that's Eastern time. That would be your local time. If your computer
In
is
10 minutes time now at
10 o'clock
8:30
in the
a.m.
morning,
Eastern time, we do get the
then
US initial
that's your
jobless
time
claims.
for setting up your
Forecast 217K
trades. It's not my time, right?
Canadian
Don't
equity
automatically
market
use my
lower,
time.
forecast 0.85% on a prior read
So
of
that's my trap trade.
6%.
Now,
US
on
50
gold,
index forecast 8 on a prior of 10 spot 3. US continued jobless claims forecast
it's the morning, so we're
on a prior of 1
we're
spot
bullish.
7
That much
Canadian
is certain.
RRPI
Gold is
yield
bullish at the moment.
forecast 2 spot
It's
5%
up
on
over
a prior read
$15.
of
The gold market is opening right
Canadian
now,
PPI year over year prior read of minus 0.9%.
but literally a super significant amount of these events reverse. Yes, they have breakouts, but the one thing we see over and over and over and over is these Thursday unemployment claims, Philly Fed, with other small reports, they often reverse. They often print candles real quick. So it's much harder, though, to set up a NQ trade because of the size of the moves. So I would consider, I'm just going to test an NQ trap trade with a stop of 35, and my tiers are going to be 70 and 100 because my moves, when I tested recent reports on this, it was 80 ticks, easily 80 ticks. Okay. Now, again, please, this is test. This is the test. 35 stop, tiers of 70 and 100, 70 and 100. It could be 80 and 110. All right. I did very, very fast testing because, like I said, I did not have a lot of time to do a lot of testing. Activation, new software is 829.55. 829.55. All right. If you're old software, 8:30 is the time of the event. Prep is 5. Prep seconds is 5. Stop of 35, tiers of 70 and 100. Activate 829.55. That's our NQ trap. Now, if you set your time to 0, you could make sure that you can see all your orders, right? You can also make sure that you see all the buttons you need to see. The combine button, so your chart needs to be wide enough to see all your buttons, okay? But if we set our time to 0 on the trap, you can do the same thing that we do on a breakout trade. It'll draw the tiers.
Order submitted.
Okay, now that's manageable. That's perfect. Okay, that's
Order
perfect.
canceled.
I'm not using a reversal continuation this morning. You could, all right, but we have enough to do with 2 trap trades, so I'm getting rid of that for the moment. Going to put my time back. All I'm doing is I don't want to manage 2 trap trades. I just want to manage one of them. So if my tiers are perfect, then we can pretty much leave the NQ side alone and trade the gold side, which I think has a better opportunity. When you enable a trap trade, your buttons show up on the chart control panel, right? The chart, I would call that the chart taskbar, right? That's the taskbar for the chart. You want to see the combine button. If you don't, then it might mean your charts are too narrow. Very simple. All right. And then I see the buttons on the gold trade. Gold I'm trading in my prop account. I think it's a possible winner if our tiers are the right size. That's the key. Do we have the right size? Are we too big? Are we too small? All right.
On the prior 1.873 million, with a range of 1.9 to 1.85 million expected. For the US, we also get the Philly Fed Business Index.
Double check NQ.
Prior 10.3. And the Canadian
829.55 on the trigger,
month of October.
70 and 100 on our tiers, okay? And then gold,
month over month is forecast at 2.5% from the prior minus 3.
30 and 50
PPI year over year
might be a little small, if anything. Stop of 25. The NQ is a 35 stop. Trigger the same time, 829.55. And position size 1 is a 1, position size 2 is a 1. That means you have 1 contract for each tier. 1 contract for each tier. All right. And then I label the trades like we always do, so you can see them. If I needed to cancel one of them, I know which one to cancel. Okay. Yes, Frank, if you're only trading, Frank asked a great question. If you want to reduce risk and trade just one tier, trade the outer tier only, the higher number, because remember what we do with the trap trade, we create a zone of safety. The zone of safety sounds like a Star Trek episode. Zone of safety is the outer tier plus the stop. So if our outer tier, for instance, is 50 and our stop is 25, we have a zone of safety of 75 ticks. If the move is 75 ticks or under, then theoretically we're not going to get stopped out on the initial hop or drop. So you don't want to trade. I mean, look, if you want to take the risk, you could trade the first tier. If it's a report that never fills the second tier, well, then we would trade our setup, change our setup. You could trade the inner tier only, but then you're just increasing your risk of getting stopped out. You can do it. On gold, what could ruin our trade is the high. Okay, this could be a great magnet setup this morning. And I was thinking of because I don't really think a lot of the breakouts on these two reports. I was absolutely one of the thoughts I had when I popped into the room this morning was let's look at the chart and set up magnets. And you have perfect magnet trades. You could have the news bring you to the high, or you could have the news trigger you at the low, right? It's actually a pretty good magnet setup also. But I think I really look after watching a whole bunch of these reports. I think the trap may be the strongest setup for Thursday's unemployment claims with Philly Fed and any of the other small reports that it often trades with. So let's see what happens. What's the worst that happens? I blow up one of my prop accounts, which it won't blow it up. It'll just do more damage to it. Or we learn a great lesson that we could use next week, maybe. That's the beauty of testing. It's also the luxury of making money earlier in the week so that you're not under pressure to make money later in the week. I mean, people sent me their screenshots yesterday with multiple $1,000 profits yesterday. So a lot of people are not under heavy pressure today
10 seconds.
to make money on coin tosses, if you get my drift.
Order submitted.
Okay, let's see what happens here.
Order canceled.
Not a big enough move on gold.
213k, lower than forecast.
Perfect
210K.
NQ.
Continued claims.
Perfect NQ. Cancel the outer tier. Well, now you can't. It's changing direction.
Jobless claims revised up to 200K
Hang loose.
from 200.
Hang loose on the
Continued
NQ.
claims revised down slightly to 1.872 million from 1.8.
Looks like it wants to change direction, but I can't cancel that outer tier yet. Gold should be canceled. The gold trap should be canceled.
Order canceled.
NQ, cancel outer tier. Stop to safety.
Higher than forecast 2.5%. Year over year at
Now, you can move it so that you don't get stopped out. Right now, we don't have a profit. It's not enough. It's not enough. So my stop, I just pulled it up. Now, it's still not enough, $80, you know. Maybe it's just the nature today. We're not going to get that reversal. All right. It just may not be working today. We had a very fast, I'll show you the video to give you an idea of some things you can do. So it did not reverse well on the NQ. Hey, I didn't lose a penny. That was a test account. That was a stim. All right. So maybe the news today just didn't help us out. Okay. Maybe the news didn't help us out. Gold, our tiers were too big. Okay. They were too big. That's okay. It was a trap trade. The NQ, it had an opportunity. It did have an opportunity. I'm telling you, there was a $200 profit, but you had to understand trap trades and know what you do in a panic situation. Also, look at the NQ. It's up 400 ticks. It went up a lot of ticks on this news. Today, the NQ might have been a breakout. That worked against us. That doesn't mean my idea is wrong today. It just means that we have to wait and do more testing on the NQ. But let's take a chill back for a second and look at the video, because that's going to tell us a lot more than we need. It's going to tell us a lot of what we need to know. First off, because I didn't have as much time as I would have wanted, I wasn't really able to do all of the proper analysis. Part of the proper analysis, of course, is what's the NQ doing at the moment of the event, right before the event. And the NQ has been pushing up very, very, very bullishly.
We have posted our
Okay.
Canadian PPR
That
report on
worked
the free
against
float
us
invested.
on a trap trade.
10-year Treasury yields as well, little changed.
The news, let me see if I can
S&P 500
do what we
is
want to
little
do
changed.
here
Dollar
without
seeing some losses
resetting.
come through now, pairing back to around flat on the session.
Let me just get rid of all my pop-ups for a second. Two more. All right, so what do we have going on here? The jobless claims, there were less jobless claims. Philly Fed
Nvidia
was
shares
negative,
2%
was a
after
very
announcing
negative
pro-market
number.
decline now.
For whatever reason, no matter what, the market liked this news, okay? The market liked the news, it went up. It really struggled to reverse. The news struggled to reverse. If we look at the ruler, let's look at, no, we got to go here. 158 ticks in 3 minutes. All right, the NQ moved 158 ticks
7
in
minutes
3
time around
minutes.
8:45 a.m. Eastern time. We expect comments from the
So
Fed's Hammond
that
meeting.
was
The
probably
new Cleveland Fed
too much
President
of a
already
move for
giving
the
welcoming
trap
remarks
trade
at
to
the
work
2024
on
Financial
the
Stability
NQ this
Conference.
morning.
There is no text expected.
Or we just need bigger tiers. The NQ regularly moves 130 ticks. We could have just had bigger tiers. We could have started at 110 or 120, right? And we could have done 150. And you can test that, right? You could test it real easily. We could download the data, go to historical data, download the data, get the market replay data. Today's the 21st. Download the NQ 1224, download it, okay? And now we could disconnect live. We could connect playback, and we can redo our trap trade on the NQ, right? By putting the date in. Today's 11/21. Not complicated. This is only going to take a minute. 11:21. Is it really 11:21? That's unbelievable. So both boxes get the same date, and then we go to the time of the trade, less 15 seconds. So I'm going to go to 8:29:45. And then I'll check and make sure that our time is working properly. And it is. So now I'm going to go back to my NQ trap trade. All right. NQ trap. Put the account on playback. Our tiers are bigger, 120 and 150. We still wasn't a great reversal today. All right. But what you want to know is maybe our tiers were safer. Maybe our tiers would say, but I want to show you something on the video also.
Order submitted.
There was an instant profit on this trade. There was an instant profit. Now you could see the bigger tiers, they may be too big now. So you got to go back and readjust. You got to go back and readjust. You can speed up your playback right here by increasing that number. 4 times the speed of the playback, 6 times, 8 times. So our tiers were too big. Maybe not.
Order canceled.
There you
Order
go.
filled.
There you go. Now, in a panic situation, if you get a reversal and you see a $200 profit and everything's fast,
Order
boom,
filled.
I hit the close button and I grabbed my profit. That's what you could have done. Okay. That's what you could have done to grab a profit on a super fast moving trap trade that you didn't have time to move your orders, move your stop. I don't like hitting the close button because it's the worst fill you're going to get. But if your profit's big enough, you can still maintain some of that profit. Now, we needed those big tiers or we wouldn't have survived the trade. It still was not a good day for an NQ trap. That's just the reality. However, my first choice is gold. My first choice was gold. Okay, let's look at the video. Now, very interesting what Mauricio is saying. Just to share my experience yesterday, trading on his own with NVIDIA, his PA Apex account experienced a failure. Mauricio, what do you mean a failure? What happened exactly?
8:45 a.m.
What happened exactly?
We expect comments from Cleveland Fed President Hammack, who gives welcoming remarks at
All
the
right,
2024
let's go to the
Financial
video.
Reporting Conference.
Now, the other thing also is you can download the gold data, right? Let's download the gold data from today. Today's the 21st, GC 1224. Now, you cannot download data if you're connected to playback. You have to be disconnected. It's just the way it is. So now I can download. It's done. I can reconnect playback, continue, and now I can shrink my gold, put today's date in first, right? 11/21. Go to that date. All right. Go to the right time, 8:29:45. Now, there's a difference between curve fitting and testing. Curve fitting is when you try to find the right setup and you don't do proper testing. Proper testing means you got to do it more than once. You got to look back in time. 829.55. So I would go to 20 and 35 on gold. Shrink our tiers. That's without checking, right? It's much easier. Check your move with the ruler. Let's put our time back and let's see if we were more aggressive with our gold setup. It could have been a good winner, right? Now, this is not woulda, shoulda, coulda. This is testing. There's a difference. You have to test to figure out what's going to be in the future. Testing tells the future. So here's our gold setup. 4 seconds, we'll get our tiers.
Order submitted.
There's our tiers. Now we should get a fill.
Order canceled.
Now we got to fill in the direction I would have been. I'm surprised. I want to do more testing on this. Cancel
Order
the
canceled.
outage here. Stop to safety. Okay. Expand my target. Trail up towards profit. And see what a difference a smaller tier can make. All right.
Order
We have a
canceled.
profitable gold trade just by checking and changing the tiers. Okay. All we had to do. Now, everybody that's a regular, stay in the room. I want to thank everybody on YouTube. We're going to close our stream. That's our stream for today. Good lessons, folks, on YouTube. Sometimes we don't make money. Sometimes we learn how to make money for the next time. So thank you. Hit the like button on your way out, everybody on YouTube. Appreciate you coming. And we'll see you next week when we do more streaming. Take care, everyone on YouTube.